into this second segment, which is going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. So, as we know, the Jets, they are a complete train wreck. They did not play this week, they had a bye week, and it's just been terrible despite getting Aaron Rodgers and, getting Devontae Adams and getting all of these former Green Bay wide receivers that were more or less competent with Aaron Rodgers. Every Jets fan and everybody who is an Aaron Rodgers fan, they expected some great things for the Jets, and only to be disappointed with this awful season that they've had. And I'm just gonna say it right now. The Jets, they had a better record at this point in the season with Zach Wilson than they did with Aaron Rodgers, and that is really saying a lot because, as Jets fans know, and I'm sure most of the NFL knows, Zach Wilson is not a competent quarterback, and he's actually awful at quarterback. And he was a big reason why the Jets would lose their games because they would lack quarterback play and they wouldn't have a quarterback that would have the ability to make these important throws. He'd throw a lot of interceptions, he'd turn the ball over. He was basically Daniel Jones just on the Jets. And it was hard. It was really difficult for a lot of Jets fans. And now, once they were able to acquire Aaron Rodgers, they thought that all of their problems would be lifted. In the first season with Aaron Rodgers, he tore his ACL, as we know, literally in the first possession of the game, and he was out for the whole season. So there goes one season with Aaron. And now this next season with Aaron, where they have a fresh start, everyone expected great things from him. And they started out incredibly slow. Actually, they started out worse than when they had Zach Wilson on the squad. And then the head coach ended up getting fired. Whichever reason might it be, no idea. But there are rumors that maybe Aaron Rodgers was the reason why he got fired. Then there were other rumors coming in that the owner wanted Aaron Rodgers to get benched, but the coach said no, and he ended up getting fired a few weeks after. And, all of this drama coming in from the Jets, and then they ended up getting Devontae Adams, who is a fantastic wide receiver. And he also wanted to leave the Raiders because he didn't think he had a good shot of winning when he was on the Raiders. And still, the Jets only have one win to show for it since getting Devontae Adams, which is very, very bad. And it's like all of the problems that the Jets thought that they had last season, it's not like they don't have problems this season. In fact, you could argue that they have even more problems this season than when they did with Zach Wilson, because they played phenomenal defense with Zach Wilson at quarterback. They had a great receiving core. They had a great DB core, but ever since Aaron Rodgers took the helm, it's like everything else on the Jets squad ultimately ended up getting worse. Like, the O-line was already bad, but they don't give Rodgers enough time to, throw the ball at times. The receivers, for some reason, ended up getting a little bit worse. And the corners, especially Sauce Gardner, have also gotten a little bit worse. And there were several instances. I remember against the Colts, when the Jets played against the Colts, before they played that game, Sauce Gardner was talking about how everyone knows how to tackle, and little does he know that to end the game, he is unable to make a tackle, and that results in the Colts scoring a game-winning touchdown. And that's just a backbreaker, because it's like he has this, I don't want to say ego, because, like, again, I don't really think NFL players have ego. I think they have confidence, but not really trying to pay attention to tackling and not thinking that is a necessity in the game of football is completely egregious, because the two most underrated things that you need to win football games are blocking and tackling. If you're unable to tackle, then more often than not, you're unable to win these football games. And the fact that he didn't take tackling all that seriously is a little bit concerning, because, and lo and behold, it was the reason why the Jets ended up losing. Special teams has also been a little bit bad. The kicker missed a lot of field goals that if he would have connected on, probably would have ended up winning the game, for actually winning several games for the Jets. And it's just, everything is just bad. Everything is just worse. And Aaron Rodgers knows it. I guess Aaron thought that this was going to be something easy. I don't know what it is, but Rodgers, he still wants to play football in 2025, but he does not want to play for the Jets. And in my opinion, this is a little bit, this is like, how should I say? I don't want to say diva behavior, but like it really does feel like it is, because it's like he joins the Jets because he wants to get out of Green Bay and he wants to try and win some more. Obviously, that's why he joined the Jets, because he saw that everything seemed to be right for the Jets, and all that the Jets needed was a star quarterback to get them over the top, right? He joined the Jets knowing this. Obviously, we can't really say anything about him getting injured at the start of the season, because that would just be unfair. But for this season, everything that could go wrong for the Jets did go wrong. They started out a little, like the first few games, they started out all right. Aaron started out all right. But the majority of these games ended in nothing but disappointment. And ultimately, being the kind of player that he is, he would attract other stars. He attracted some of the Packers receivers as well as Davante Adams, and he even went on a show with like showing off that he ended up getting it was the Pat McAfee show, I think it was, where he ended up going on a call with Pat McAfee, and live on the podcast, Davante Adams was already in the room after reports were going around that Davante Adams ended up getting traded over to the Jets. And it was like, okay, now that he has his star wide receiver, they should be winning games, right? That's not the case at all. They ended up continuing to lose. And it's just, everybody has gotten fired so far. The head coach ended up getting fired after 5 games. Joe Douglas ended up getting fired. Joe Douglas deserved to get fired, honestly. And they're going to need to find replacements for both of these guys. And now that, this entire season has been a train wreck for the Jets, Aaron wants to leave. It's like, it seems a little bit self-centered, in my opinion. Like, maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But, like, it's so weird. Like, you go to a spot that you wanted to go to because you wanted to try and fix the franchise. And then the franchise continues to mess up, mainly because of, the team around you not being nearly as good as they were previously. And I'm also going to point out that Aaron, while I will say he's been solid, he hasn't been the same caliber player that he was on Green Bay. And I mean, he's nowhere near the MVP caliber player that he was after he won back-to-back MVPs with the Packers. And he also has yet to have a 300 passing yard game this season. So I'm not going to say that Aaron Rodgers is exempt from this criticism, because his play in some of these games has also been a big reason why the Jets haven't been able to win a couple more games. And I will say that there are other problems elsewhere, but he is also a problem with this team. And now he wants to leave it because it's a train wreck. Like, that just seems very self-centered to me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And it makes him, like, there were speculations and there are talks that he's a little bit of a diva. This really accentuates those kinds of conversations. But that's just me. And, I mean, speaking for Jets fans and what they've had to deal with in this season, not only do I feel their pain, but I don't think they want Aaron as their quarterback anymore. So it seems like the feeling is mutual between the franchise and between the quarterback. It doesn't seem like I haven't really spoken to many Jets fans who want Aaron Rodgers to still be their quarterback. And if they end up buying him out, I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but it's really like, I'm not sure what other options they have, but this is just unbelievable. This is really, really bad. It's incredible how the Jets, they still managed to mess up this season, despite having one of the, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, and one of the most talented quarterbacks in NFL history by far as well. But that's all that I have for this second segment. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the third segment, where I recap all of the NFL games that took place on Sunday. There were a lot of upsets. I'm not going to really spend much time on all of them individually as much as I would like. I might do that later on in future segments, but for now, I'm just going to recap the scores and the best players for each and every single team that is played on Sunday, and I'll be right back after this short break, so be sure to stay tuned if you guys are interested.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.